He must be in the waiting lobby.
Yeah. I think most of the people must be on YouTube. They are joining.
In our school, strength is almost 500. So that is why means the few children they are joining on YouTube.
No, now the number has gone up. It was earlier 9, 10, now it is 117. I think they were waiting. Chandan? Hello? He rang me up. Ani Sati? Chandan, Mr. Sachit Jain has been muted. Yeah. He is there.
Yeah, he's here.
Yeah.
Sajid, good morning and welcome to BCM Foundation and BCM institutions.
Very good morning. Good to see all of you and good to be here.
I have the pleasure of introducing some of the outstanding educationist principals of our institutions. We have to begin with Mr. D.P. Guleria. Mr. Guleria is a very renowned principal of BCM Sector 32, Chandigarh Road, next to Vardhman. This is a large school, 6,000 students.
No, I'm aware because sometimes our employees, I think many of our kids' employees are studying there. So, yeah.
Okay. So you are aware of the school. So Mr. Guleria is leading the school. And then I see Shivani Sachdeva. Shivani is the head of our preschool in Basant Vihar. It is
the most important area. The most important area of education.
Yes.
Yeah, it is. So she is an early childhood expert, childhood care and education expert, and has a very rich experience of working in Pumpkin before and then Millennium. And I also see on screen Dr. Monica Dua. Dr. Monica is an excellent teacher and researcher and is principal of the BCM College of Education, again on the Chandigarh Road, Ludhiana. This college is NAC accredited A grade and is rated as the best education college in the Punjab University jurisdiction. We also have Dr. Vandana Shahi. I don't see here on the screen somewhere. But Dr. Vandana Shahi also leads a large school in Dugri. It is often produced the topper of the city. This school has around 4,000 students. And then we have another school, Mr. JP Singh would be somewhere. JP is heading a school in Basant Vihar, Pakhowal Road. This school has 2,500 students. This is the last in the chain of our schools. And we have an excellent school.
Today's audience will be primarily students of class 11 and 12, right?
11 and 12. Yeah. We also have a
Parents,
very outstanding school in BCM focal point. So this is dedicated to teaching children of workers. And for last 20 years, this school has produced often five of the top 10 positions in Punjab School Education Board. It is affiliated to Punjab School Education Board. So Niru has joined. She is listening to you from YouTube. But you see Vandana, Dr. Vandana Shahi. Incidentally, Vandana is also chairperson of the LMA Women's Forum. I'm pleased to introduce
Good morning,
Vandana.
sir. I'm already there.
Okay.
I don't know
Now
why
we can see.
I am not visible.
Yeah.
I'm there.
no, we can see
Maybe
you.
not in the panel.
Yeah.
Maybe not in the panel. Otherwise, I've joined.
We'll begin all the Mr. Sachit Jain and all the principals of institutions, the parents who may also have joined, and all the students. It's a great day in the history of our foundation and our institutions that we are kicking off the BCM Leadership Series. The idea of BCM Leadership Series is to expose young minds to the eminent personalities who found purpose, calling, and created a wonderful life with tremendous impact on society. I'm looking forward to sessions with outstanding people in our country, and I am very happy that we are beginning this series with Mr. Sachit Jain. I have known Sachit ji since 1994. That is, Sachit 25 years now, and he was dashing young man when I met him. He's dashing even now, but the time has time tells on his face. Anyway, so Sachit is an alumni of IIT Delhi, and he is also gold medalist from IIM Ahmedabad. He worked with Hindustan Liver before joining the Vardhman group. He's chaired Vardhman group, but more than that, I think he wrote a very fascinating book called Takeoff, Ready for Takeoff. This book came out of I was doing the LMA's management development program, and I requested Sachin to do this program. And then this book, the idea of the book came out of this. I suggested him that he write a book on what you have done. Incidentally, you don't have heard a term called leadership by heart. This is intellectual property of Sachit Ji. I remember long time back when he did this program, he told me most people lead by mind, and all the theories that we read in the books, they talk of leadership by mental processes or behavioral traits. But Sachit said the real leadership takes place through heart. And Sachit, I remember, if you recall, you had put a slide. The real leader is one who enables people to do so much, achieve great things, and without realizing that there was a leader around. It's not exact, but this is one slide you presented on the leadership model. I am very happy to present you thousands of students of our institutions who are watching you today on both MS Team and on our leadership channel on the YouTube. I am indeed grateful for agreeing to address the budding leaders. Our motto is also to nurture future leaders. And we are with this series. I am very happy that we are kicking with you, and I look forward to your also joining on with some of the outstanding personalities as an interlocutor or as a moderator. Thank you very much. Welcome once again. Glenn, forum is yours now. I think the student president can come.
Thank you very much, sir. It indeed is a privilege to have you as the Executive Director of BCM Schools. Thank you once again. Respected members, I am Tamanna Joshi, the Student President, BCM School, Chandigarh Road. Now I take
I didn't know what IIT was, but I decided I want to go. I started studying for IIT in class 12. So these days, I believe people start in class 7 and 8 and very early. I started studying in class 12 for IIT. And I took a correspondence course. In our time, there used to be a correspondence course called Agarwal's. And we did this correspondence course. I was lucky. I did well. I got a rank of 155 all India. So I got electrical engineering. But I remember in class 12 at that time asking my father one day, I said, Papa, I'm studying for IIT. Why am I studying for IIT? And his advice to me was, are you a good sportsman? I said, then you can build sports as a career. I said, no. He said, do you want to be a doctor? I said, no. Are you good in music or arts? You want to develop that as a career? I said, no. He said, might as well go to IIT. So, I was good for nothing else, and therefore I decided to go for IIT. The problem of this kind of decision making is I enjoyed my 4 years in IIT a lot. But within 3 months, I realized that electrical engineering and I don't gel. And eventually I started bunking so many classes. I organized mass bunks. My father would tell me, beta, for a change, study. And I said, yes, Papa, next semester. So it was always that, it was always the next semester. So, but if students, what I would say today that I do regret that at that stage, I do wish I studied a bit more. Because then I got into IIM Ahmedabad. Because in IIT, I would copy all practicals of other people. I never did any practicals myself. I think if I'd done that, I would have gained a bit more. Luckily, I got into Ahmedabad. There, I studied from day one. In 2 years, I bunked 2 classes. I would bunk 2 classes in a day in IIT. And in IIM, in 2 years, I bunked 2 classes. The studies were absolutely fantastic. I loved it every minute. 2 years of solid hard work. So let me give you an idea of how much work you need to do. Day 0, meaning Sunday you land up. Monday onwards classes are there. So you said, I'm joining a new college. You're coming in there. You are given, and I go into my room and I see a stack of papers, reading material for tomorrow. This is Sunday. You just joined. Monday your class begins. You are supposed to have read the theory for each topic. Then there's a case of that topic. You study that case, prepare that case. So you spend in 5 to 6 hours of studies before you've attended your first class. And the class begins with what should so-and-so do and why. So if you've not done the theory, you don't understand anything. And you haven't read the case and prepared that case, you don't understand anything. And imagine going to an accounts class as an engineer who's never done commerce at all, and you start with an accounts class of debit, credit, and so on, straight away dive into it. So that is the kind of pressure that you're put under. But that was fun. And exams, many people write, take those farras, and I don't know what today with because of those cell phones, how students cheat these days. But in our time, some students would write on their collars or on their carry some small paper and so on. At IIM, no need for that. All exams were open book. You could take as many books as you want. No need to make any note anywhere. And that was the kind of exam we had. 4 hours, but we never had study leave at that time. These days, I believe students get one month study leave. So we were studying till Saturday in IIM. Sunday, 1 day leave you'd get. Monday onwards exams. One exam 9 to 1, second exam 2 to 6, 9 to 1, 2 to 6, 9 to 1, 2 to 6, 9 to 1, 2 to 6, 4 days exams finished. Then Friday, Saturday, Sunday holiday, Monday onward, next term begins. So that is the kind of work we had. I remember my class 10 boards also. We had Saturday, Sunday study leave. Boards began on Monday. Monday morning, afternoon, 1 week boards finished. Then Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday practicals, 3 practicals, physics, chemistry, science. So 10 days boards were over. These days, of course, there's a lot of time that everybody gets. But I was lucky. I had 88% marks in class 10th. I had 90% marks in class 12. So God was kind. I was a good student. But apart from being a good student, I did focus my attention on dramatics, debates, public speaking, and sports. I played table tennis, I swam, I was in my IIT, I was the captain of my hospital team in table tennis in IIT. I was captain of my swimming team, I was captain of my water polo team. The 3 games I used to play. In addition, I used to play squash. So sports is very important. Extracurriculars are very important. Reading novels is very important. Reading, a habit of reading is very important. These are the things that have given advantage to me when I am today. Today, because of my reading abilities, I have a wide area of interest. Because of public speaking and debating exercises in school, I'm able to speak on any topic. I can speak in public forum. I can speak with the leaders. I got a chance to meet the Prime Minister of India, Shri Atal Bihari Vajpayee, on a very nice setting in Manali, where there were just 5 people. There was the Prime Minister, there was the Chief Minister of Himachal Pradesh, Vardhman, there was my father-in-law, our group chairman, me, our liaison man, and 1 friend of mine. So there were just 6 of us having tea in Manali. So those are the opportunities you might get once in a while. But developing confidence is a very important thing. Second, I would say developing interpersonal skills, because when you're working in an organization, you eventually are dealing with people. So your ability to deal with people and build teams together is a very important quality. The third is, when you have a failure, when you fall down, not if you fall down. It is when you fall down, you should have the ability to pick yourself up. Each one of us will go through various failures, various difficult times in life. The difficult times in your life will be different from the ones in my life. But the fact is, everyone will go through difficult times. So your ability to pick yourself up, which is called resilience, is a very, very important quality. The fourth quality that if I look back on, is it is very important to have a very open relationship with your parents. I was lucky. I had very open relationship with my parents. I could talk about any subject. We could talk about movies, we could talk about blue films, we could talk about sex, we could talk about anything. These are all taboo subjects. Most people don't talk about it and hide things from their parents. When I first started drinking, of course, that was in college, not in school. These days kids start earlier, I believe. But when I started drinking, I told my parents that I'm drinking. When I first started smoking, I told my parents I smoke. Of course, I stopped that very soon. I did not continue with smoking. It's very bad for your health. You must understand, students, if any of you smoke, it's a terrible thing that you're doing to yourself. I did it, but I would smoke only 1 cigarette a day, never to smoke inside of me. Never, not once. Because I knew it would damage my lungs. It was just for style. It was foolish. So I'm sharing my mistakes with you also, because I did some of the mistakes. And I don't think it was wise. It was foolish of me. But the point is that I want to emphasize is not the fact that I smoked a bit or I drank or whatever, but the fact that I did not hide it from my parents. My parents knew about everything that I was doing. That was very important. And they could guide me where I was going on the wrong track. For example, my father told me, don't get involved with a girl while you are studying, because it will be a big distraction. Or When I went out with a girl in college on a date, first date, I had to give full minute by minute count to my parents because they said you're going out with somebody's daughter. You have to make sure that she is all right. So those are the kind of discussions my parents had with me. I'm talking about, of course, 85 when I first on a date. So way before any of you were born, right? But these are important things that to have the ability to have that communication and conversation. When my girls turned 18, I've got two daughters, both of them, the day they turned 18, that is the time I said, I will let you drive. And I took my daughters to drive myself. But kids these days want to learn driving before. It's an honor kind of a thing now that I can drive at 16 or 17, I can drive my car. I did not allow my parents, my daughters to drive. 18, I took myself to train them to drive. Similarly, at 18, I told them it is important for you to start building out your life. Because when you're in class 11 and 12, your whole life is ahead of you. The effort you put in today is going to shape your life tomorrow. I was lucky. My parents gave me the right guidance. I studied hard and God has put me in a good position today. Similarly, to my children, I told them the same thing, that you going to make your own life. At 18, you cannot blame your parents anymore. So you are an adult, you start taking your decisions. We are available for guidance. But once you take your decision, then you can't blame your parents that you told me this, you did this, or you did that. The other thing, it is very important for many of kids in Ludhiana may belong to business families. And in business families, very often, they don't give that much attention to education. क्या करना है बड़े होके इसने ऑफिस संभालना है फैक्ट्री संभालनी है शॉप संभालनी है so the fact that if you are from a business family, sometimes the guidance can happen that you don't need to study. I'm sorry, that is the worst thing someone can tell you. If you have not studied hard, if you're not prepared yourself well, your ability to handle the issues later on in life will be poor. Imagine you've not studied, you get into your father's business or your grandfather's business or your grandmother, whatever, you join a family business and you've not studied, so you don't know. Your employees can make a fool of you. You will not know when somebody is telling you something. If you don't understand that, how will you know? Then you start distrusting everybody. And somebody will take advantage of you. So even if you're from a business family, you need to focus on your studies very much because that will give you knowledge. Knowledge is the important thing. Very often we go for marks. Marks is an indication of knowledge, but that is not the most important thing. The most important thing is studying hard and gaining the knowledge that you want to do. You don't know when that knowledge will be useful. Let me give an example. As I told you in IIT, I did electrical engineering. And I didn't think it was important at that point in time. And I never was going to join any field of electrical engineering. 2010, I get a steel company to run. And the steel company is an electric arc furnace. It is all about electricity. It is all about transformers. It is all about high voltage transformers. And suddenly the electrical engineering that I thought I had left behind in 1987 came to haunt me in 2010. 23 years after I thought I had escaped electrical engineering, it came to haunt me. Luckily, I remembered something from that and I could use some of that in my steel plant. Let me shift gears a bit from my education and early part to work part. In my steel company, we are doing some very interesting work. This was a company that everybody believed had no future. In 2010, when I got this business, it was Vardhman Group is a successful group. but the steel company steel division was seen as an area which had no future. Now, my problem is, if any of you follow cricket, I'm talking about a generation of players a few years ago. Many of you may have heard of a guy called Sehwag, Virender Sehwag. Virender Sehwag was a dashing batsman who would never be afraid of the bowler in front of him, never be afraid of the score they have to make. So when he would come to bat, the only thing he would think would be hitting the next ball out of the boundary for a sixer. He made his double century once with a sixer. If I'm not mistaken, I think did he make a triple century? I don't know, but definitely double century. He has made a double century with a sixer. When everybody is scared at a double century mark and would not try to hit a sixer. Now that's the approach I entered our steel business with. I said, I will not be afraid. Even if everybody tells me this business has no future, let me see, I've got a business, I've got a chance to bat. If I go down, I go down fighting. But we will give it our best to make something out of it. So we decided in 2010 itself that we will make this a world-class company and make this the best steel company in the country. So imagine for a company that had no future, to think you become a world-class company, to be a world beater, seemed like a very audacious dream. Seemed like a dream of somebody who has no idea of current realities. I realized then that if I want to get there, I have to make some investments. We made some big investments in the company. We realized we need to change the culture of people. We got them highly motivated. I talked to the workers, got them involved, got them excited. And third, I asked the question, can I do this alone? And the answer was no. So I said, okay, then I need to find a partner, a global leader who would be willing to partner with me. And I decided, I scanned the environment and I found the best steel companies from Indian point of view, from automotive steel point of view, would be Japanese companies. And therefore I looked for a Japanese company. And I found a company called Aichi Steel Corporation, which is part of a Toyota Corporation. I'm sure all of you have heard of Toyota. Aichi Steel Corporation is a part of Toyota. I met them in 2011 and we tried to get them to partner with us. It took me 8 years. Eventually in 2019, they have partnered with us. And today, that company which had no future, which had sales of 250 crore rupees, today this year we are targeting 200 crore rupees. And we are targeting $1 billion company, which is around 7,000 crores in the next 10 years. So for a company that had no future, in 20 years, our plan is to grow 25 times. So that is the kind of exciting journey that we have ahead of us. The other thing that I've done is I have always learned to enjoy my life. So while I've studied hard, I used to play a lot. During my work, also I work a lot, I exercise a lot. So to just give you an idea of my daily routine these days, I normally get up at 4:30 in the morning. I meditate for about half an hour, 45 minutes. I do pranayam for about half an hour, 45 minutes. And then depending on the day, one day I go for cycling. So alternate days I go for cycling or table tennis. And just give you an idea, even table tennis, I play at a competitive level. 8 years ago, I was the Punjab champion in the veterans category. So over 40 category, I was the Punjab champion. So, and I went for the nationals. I could not play there. There was a health issue in the family. I had to come back, but I went for the nationals once. Then I do yoga in the evening. I also do strength. So I exercise about 2.5 to 3 hours every day. I work a lot. I have time for my friends. Basically, what I have eliminated from my life is time wastage. Many of us waste a lot of time. So things like Instagram, I know lots of youngsters spend a lot of time on Instagram. Facebook, I believe, is passé now. Facebook is where the elder generation, parents are on Facebook, the youngsters are on Insta, I believe. And many of young kids are spending a lot of time on Insta and other social media. And I also understand this term called FOMO, fear of missing out, because everyone puts out on social media what is the best which is happening in their life. That is not the real. Nobody puts out on Insta, I'm feeling depressed, or I'm feeling low, or I failed somewhere. So people keep quiet about their problems and try to make their good things much better than what they are. So somebody else who's seeing things will see, oh my God, everybody else is seeming to have a wonderful time, and I am the one who's missing out on life. Now this is something I can get it. I can understand that. And this is a big fault of the social media system, because you seem to get the feeling you isolated, you're not meeting people face to face, and you are just seeing good things of everybody else. And in your own mind, you are seeing the bad things magnified. Now, in my life also, there were enough bad things. I said everybody has good things and bad things in their life. I was fat when I was young. I was called fat in school. I was called porcupine in school. Because my parents my mother, when I was very young, I used to always get a crew cut. So I used to be called porcupine in school. So I've been called porcupine, I've been called fatso. I never minded that. I said, yeah, I'm fat. And once in a while, somebody called me who's online, I would say, I'm porcupine speaking, So I was pretty okay with the fact that if somebody called me something, because my young friends, the key is you have to build up your confidence and you have to tell yourself you're good. So you have to have good habits, which means study regularly. 2, exercise regularly. 3, have fun. It's extremely important to have fun. All work and no play makes Jack a dull boy or Jane a dull girl. It's extremely important. So I know teachers don't like it or parents don't like it. Parents will say, study, 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 study. In my board exams, I finished 2 novels and saw 3 movies in the time when I had board exams finishing in 8 days. In that time, I read 2 novels and watched a couple of movies. And my parents understood, and I would play every day. So I would play in the board exams 1 hour every day. So I finished the board exams and you got the board exam next day. I would still go play for 1 hour, come back, study a bit, then read a bit of a novel, then study a bit. So, the need to relax your mind. So I'm saying exercise, study, of course, study first, then exercise. 3rd, have fun. 4th, have some other hobbies and interests in life. The other important thing is, and stay away from social media. I mean, I'm not saying stay away. Let me rephrase that. Don't get too involved in social media. It can be very, very poisonous. The other thing I would suggest is it is important to eat well. When we were young, the diet that we were eating was not talked about too much. I was lucky that my parents somehow knew. So we turned out okay. But these days, we never used to eat out. So we never had burgers and pizzas was not part of our diet when we were growing up. These days, it's a problem. I'm not saying don't have a pizza once in a while. Don't have a burger once, but remember, once in a while. You eat bad diet in your young age, it haunts you in the middle age. When you're 50, 60, everybody thinks your life is over. As a 17-year-old kid or a 16-year-old kid, you can't imagine there'll be a life that you will be 40 or 50 at some stage. It's difficult to imagine. I get it. But the fact is, at some stage, you will be 30, you'll be 40, you'll be 50. Now, at 55, I'm cycling about 100 to 160 kilometers a week. So every week, I'm cycling 160 kilometers. I cycle at an average speed of 28 kilometers per hour. My peak speed is 35 kilometers. I go for trekking, high altitude trekking, once a year, definitely. My hope is to go twice or 3 times a year. Scuba diving is my other area of interest that I want to go for. Unfortunately, staying in Ludhiana, scuba diving is difficult, but that's something that I want to do. I've done it a couple of times. I have an interest in visiting game sanctuaries. I like wildlife a lot. I like partying with friends. I'm in touch with my college friends, and every time I'm with them, I make sure once in 2 weeks I do end up meeting some of my friends, sometimes my IIT friends. So having fun with friends is very important. But you need to, and last thing, as I said earlier, I'm repeating that, please have a good communication with your parents. They are your best well-wishers at this stage in life. As my parents were for me, I benefited a lot because all through I communicated with my parents. And I've got 2 daughters, as I said, and they communicate a lot with them. Once in a while, my younger daughter is doing her MBA from London Business School. And once in a while, she will call up when she's feeling low, or she's feeling a little confused, or she's under pressure because her friends seem to be having a great time and she is not having as great a time. She will call me once in a while. And Papa, I'm feeling down, I'm feeling low. And that is my job to buck her up. And that is what parents are, because parents' love for children is unconditional. And this is the stage to focus on your careers. And the other thing, it's okay to make a mistake. As I told you, I thought I wanted to go to IIT. But when I went into IIT, I realized that is not for me. So don't come under pressure that you have to do what others tell you to do. You need to search within yourself, figure out what you're good at, what you want to do. But this, please keep in mind that you must do something. Even if later it turns out to be what you don't want to do, you can take mid-course correction. As I did. And when I realized that IIT engineering is not what I want to do, I completed my 4 years. I got a grade of 8.5. So I did well, reasonably well. I didn't do very well, but reasonably well. But by then I found out that I really wanted to get into management. Because luckily IIT had that great thing. You were exposed to humanities subjects also. So I did a course on social business of behavior, sociology. I did a course on economics. I did 2 courses in management. I did 1 course in psychology. And I realized then that I love dealing with people, understanding people, and I love the idea of management. That's why when I went to IIM Ahmedabad, I was lucky I got in there. From day 1, I had an absolute blast. I really enjoyed myself. We used to study, as I said, 4 hours of classes and 8 hours of studies every day. The only time you could relax was during the exams. So the exams were the only time you could relax, because rest of the year you had no time to relax. And exams, why could we relax? When you're doing 8 hours of question papers every day, where is the time to study? You're so tired by the time you finish your exam, you just go to sleep. No time to study. And so anyway, my time was up to 11:45. I've taught various subjects. I've tried to cover some aspects of school, some aspects of college, some aspects of work life. I've talked about some mistakes I made. I talked about the lessons I have learned over time. And last thing that I want to share with you before I open this for questions is when I finished my MBA, and I realized that I wanted to be a teacher. And so I said, I will work for 3 years in Hindustan Lever, which I'd got my job. I said, after 3 years, in all probabilities, I will leave my job, go do a PhD, and get into teaching. So my first love, even today, is teaching, which is a noble profession. And there are some teachers who really made a big influence in my life. Wherever I would meet them, once I ran into one of those professors in All India Institute of Management, All India Institute of Medical Science at AIIMS. I ran into him in a corridor. I touched his feet there. Now, I may be executive director or a vice chairman of a company or whatever, it doesn't matter. There are 2 teachers from school. Unfortunately, both have passed away by now. 1 teacher from IIT Delhi and a few teachers from IIM Ahmedabad. Wherever I meet them, whenever I get a chance to meet them, I would touch their feet. That is the power a faculty member does to you. Life turned out differently. I became part of Vardhman Group, the family of Vardhman Group. I became an industrialist. But even now, I take guest lectures in various institutes. And a friend of mine is a senior professor at IIM Ahmedabad. We are working together to write a case. And very soon, he's a marketing professor. He's going to move to OB and leadership. And he and I will start teaching together at IIM Ahmedabad. I'm a board member of IIM Amritsar, and I just took a lecture there. I teach in IIT also. So I would like to be, and once I retire from Vardhman, I would hope to be at someday a full-time teacher. Anyway, I'm open for questions, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you. Just wanted to add information of the students. Mr. Sachit Jain, see, we have often, we call the concept of a learning organization that the world-class organizations are the one which learn. Mr. Sachit Jain actually developed a teaching organization. So he said the great organization is one where everybody teaches everybody else. That is his model, and he not only teaches at institutions like IIT, in business organization also. And the other beautiful part of his life is he also coaches and mentors young business leaders. I remember, I don't know whether you have concluded this group. So there's a group of young entrepreneurs who meet him maybe once a month, and he coaches them how to take their business to the next level. Thank you very much, Sachit, and I hand over the forum to the BCM School 32. Madhu?
Do we have some question answers now?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think Madhu, you are mute.
Am I audible?
Yeah.
Yes. Am I audible now?
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you so much, sir. It has been a wonderful experience listening to you. We really admire your honest admission. Sir, mentioning yourself lucky time and again highlights your humility and gratitude. I'd like to pick few questions from the students now before going for the vote of thanks. Now, children, the chat box is open for you and you can go for the questions. Please write there and we'll pick your questions from the chat box.
There were few hands also raised, Madhu.
Yeah, sir.
So you can ask these guys to present themselves.
Yes, sure, sir, sure. This can be another way, children. Just raise your hands if you want to speak questions.
I saw a few hands.
So may I, before we get some questions?
Yeah, please.
So first of all, thank you very much, sir. Wonderful session. I just wanted to, every day we tell our students to dream big, to think big, to innovate. And in fact, it's the need of the hour also. And, for all these things, risk taking, it becomes very important. As you also mentioned that when you took up the steel business, it had no future, but then it became the world leader. So you also took risk at that time. So my question, not in fact question, my request to you is that advise these youngsters how to weigh that risk, because that according to me is very important, because sometimes this way of emotion, sometimes they take the risk because I don't like this thing. As you said, you didn't like IIT, right? But even then, you tried something else with complete mind application. So how can we advise them that while taking the risk, what are the factors they should be keeping in mind?
Okay. Yeah. So one, let me correct that impression if I've given. I didn't like IIT. I loved IIT, but I didn't like the studies at IIT. And IIT is a great place to be, fabulous place to be. Just an idea, some of my friends, my roommate in IIT, am I frozen? I see, hello? Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes,
Yeah.
you are audible.
So my roommate from IIT, he's made the most successful renewable power company, Renew Power. If you've heard of that company, its market capitalization is $4.5 billion, and its total value is $8 billion. And started this company from scratch 10 years ago. He was my roommate in IIT. So one big advantage of going to good colleges is your classmates are people you will see in the newspapers. So to just give you an idea, some of my classmates, if you've heard of Naukri.com, everybody would have heard of that. So the founder of Naukri.com is a classmate of mine. You may not have heard of Naukri.com as students, but you would have definitely heard of Zomato.
Yeah.
So this friend of mine, Sanjeev Bikhchandani, is the first backer. He's not the founder, but the first backer of Naukri.com, of Zomato. If he had not backed Zomato, Zomato would not have become what it is today. The first 4 rounds of Zomato were financed by him. You've heard of a company called India Infoline. Again, the founder is the largest wealth management company in the country. The founder is a classmate of mine. You've heard of Edelweiss Financial Services, one of the largest financial services in the country. The founder is a classmate of mine. So the big advantage of going to good institutions is you have these kind of friends, classmates. Now, for risk that you said, ma'am, one big issue is you need to have capability. So supposing you have never done any weight training in your life and you decide to go to the gym and lift 40 kg on a bench press, that is not taking a risk, that is being foolish, right? And if you have not studied anything, you've not studied properly a subject, and you want to get into business in that area, is being foolish. So there is a big difference between taking a risk and being foolish. So one part of risk taking is you need to have calculated risk. So you need to assess what are the benefits of taking that risk and what are the losses of taking that risk. For example, if there's a train coming and you want to take the risk of crossing the train just before the train comes in, the advantage of doing it is you will save maybe 5 minutes. The downside, if the things go wrong, is you can get killed. Now, saving 5 minutes is the benefit. Getting killed is a negative. Or if you don't wear a helmet while driving a mobike. First of all, you're below 18, none of you will be riding a mobike. But I know some of you do ride mobikes. So if you're riding a mobike, I would request your parents not to allow you. But if you do, please wear a helmet. Because not wearing a helmet is being foolish. It's not taking a risk, it's being foolish. So the biggest, the distinction is being foolish means the benefits are very little. The possible risk could be very high and there's no preparation done. And risk is where you weigh the pros and cons and you've done your preparation, you've done your homework, and then you limit the risk in a small way. Like, for example, when Vardhman Group started the fabric business, our first plan was to put 300 looms. But we made a shed of only 72 looms. And we put only 16 looms. If you made any losses, the losses will be very less. Once we learned those 16 looms, we added 48 more and then kept adding. Today we have 2,000 looms. But I'm just saying we started at 16 looms, whereas even smaller companies started much bigger factories. That was being foolish. For us, it was a calculated risk. I hope the distinction is clear.
Yeah. Yeah, Madhu?
Yeah, sir. Thank you so much. Your formula of calculated risk, that will definitely help the children in their life. Sir, here we have come with one question, and moreover, this is, it's a question from a parent side also. Means parents, they have their own expectations and they want that children to have some safe career. And at this very stage, children go through some communication problems with their parents. So here we have a question from a student, how to develop good communication skills with parents, so that they are open, the children are open with the parents, and that rapport could be developed between a parent and a child. So what is your suggestion, sir, about it?
So, first of all, I believe to have good communication, the bigger responsibility lies on the parents. Because parents, if they're going to be judgmental all the time, and they're going to be getting angry at children all the time and shouting at children all the time, then children will hide. When parents say no all the time, the child says, imagine you're a girl, your daughter is saying that I want to go to a party at night. What will the parent say? No, you can't go. So what happens? The child will say, Papa, I am going to a friend's house to study. And they'll go to their friend's house, and from there they'll go for a party. Right? So when you're saying no to something like this, the child will disobey you. And where will the open communication be? They will not tell you they're going for a party. Or one of the things that parents do these days is they will confiscate mobile. Now, I know that all children have a buddy system between them, and between them somebody will have an extra SIM card or an extra mobile, and they will pass on the extra mobile to the friend whose mobile has been confiscated. And now the parents are thinking the child doesn't have their mobile, whereas the child has a hidden mobile. Or for example, porn. Most boys watch porn. Class 11, 12, definitely they will be watching porn. Now, if a parent sees a child watching porn, or a child talks to a parent, I want to watch some pornography, parent will say, no, don't do this nonsense. Then why will the child talk about that? So I'm just saying these are difficult subjects. These are real subjects. And so it is important that the parent becomes in a listening mode, and that is how it happens. I was my parents were in listening mode, and I could talk anything. When I first saw pornography, I could talk to my parents. I'm going to my friend's house and we'll be watching some pornography there. Okay. So stuff like that we could talk about. And again, my parents would warn me, don't get too involved in it. Once in a while, it's okay. Don't be addicted to it. Stuff like that. That is the kind of communication parents need to have. I talk to my daughters about pornography, for example. I did talk to them, and they said, Papa, you think I'm not interested. I can see, of course, everyone knows. My daughter told me about this mobiles being when you confiscate a mobile, what happens? My daughter told me this, so I know that you will get from other friends. From friends, you will get mobile. So these are the things that we need to understand. And when parents are not honest with the children, then the communication goes down. For example, if parents are telling the children all the time, don't bunk your class, etc., and they bunk classes in their time. I mean, look, like I would tell my children, I said, I used to bunk classes all the time in class 12. I would study, of course. I would study. I would bunk the class to study for IIT. But if I bunk classes and I tell my children, you don't know, you will not do classes, I said, no. I said, look, don't overdo it. Once in a while, bunking a class is fine. But I'll just give you an example. Once in class 12, there was a movie being shown to some other students, not our class 12, the middle school. I went to my teacher and said, sir, I want to miss the class. He said, why do you want to miss the class? I said, the movie being shown in the other school, I want to go and see the movie. He looked at me as to which planet has this guy come from, who's actually asking a teacher in school that he wants to miss the class, go and see a movie. He said, go. So I went and saw the movie. Mel Brooks was the movie, silent movie. Of course, I'm talking about 1982. I'm just saying that openness is very important, that the parents need to understand that they were all children at one time. And what was the thought process then? If your girl talks about, your daughter talks about going out with a boy, you say, no, how can you go out? When I've gone out with a girl in 1985, okay, I was in college then. How can I tell my daughter that you can't go out with a boy? She actually married a classmate first. My daughter. So I'm saying we need to be open to these things. That's okay. Children, the bigger responsibility of the parents. From children's point of view, I think what you should do is talk to your parents that, look, there are issues that parents have, children have, everything. I would like to see you as my guide. I would like to have an open relationship with you. I would like to share this. But then you have to be open to listening to me. So let me tell you why I handled my daughter's party. When she said we want to party, he said, no problem. But you will not come back alone at home. So some parent will be picking you and dropping you. Or I will come and pick you and drop you. So I never said no to a party. Going for a party? No problem. I have no problem in you're going to a party. But I want a parent. I have no problem with you. I trust you. I don't trust other hooligans on the road. It's your safety that I'm concerned about. I don't have a problem with your party. Or my daughter, elder one, she was first year in college in Delhi. And she was staying with my parents for 1 year. And I said, whenever you want to go for a party, call me. I will come to Delhi. And I will pick you up from your party. And then she would say, Papa, I'll be late, 12 o'clock. I go to sleep. So I said, no problem. No, I'll get you later. It'll be 1 o'clock. I said, no problem. I'll come and pick you up. 1:30, no problem. I'll come and pick you up. So whatever time she said, I would say, no problem. I'll come and pick you up. So, no, these are the kind of relationship that parents and children have. If they have this kind of relationship, a lot of lying and hiding will go away. And then children, when they make a mistake also, it will happen. Then children can go and talk to the parents. So those are the kind of things I think is important. So bigger responsibility on parents, but children also need to take the issue and start talking that I want to be open. I want to talk about things. But please, if I talk about something, you have to be open to listening to me. Rather than if you start scolding me, I will stop talking to you again on this thing. I hope that answers the question, whoever asked the question.
Beautiful.
It's really great. And students have got idea how to manage with their...
I can't hear you, sorry.
Develop.
I can't hear you.
Yeah. Hello. Is my voice audible, sir?
Yes,
Yeah.
now.
Is it audible now?
Yeah.
Hello.
Go ahead.
Is my voice audible? Hello. Yeah. So, sir, thank you so much. So, sir, you have given an idea to the students how to develop a rapport with their parents. And this also gave us an idea that we should go for a session with parents. Your one session with parents, that is really will be of a great help to the students. Now, here we have got few questions. Same question from different So I'll take it as a one question. The children are asking, sir, what according to you is the best way to avoid social networking sites? It's consuming a lot of time of the students nowadays, and though they know that this is not good for them, but once they go into it, they are not able to, bring them back and resume to the studies. So they are asking about the suggestions that you can just give to them.
Okay. So one good thing I must compliment whoever has asked this question is that you are acknowledging it's a problem. So that is the most important thing. The moment you acknowledge it's a problem, then a solution will come. So a couple of things you can do. For example, you may decide that you will see social media only on the weekend. So you will not see it during weekdays. That's one method. So restrict your time at which you will decide you will see this social media. So that is one way. Second, to even force you on that way, somebody that I know of, I heard about this, is a working person, he would give his phone to his secretary to change the password of the social media accounts. And every week change it and give the password only on Saturday. And Monday would change the password again. So he would have the password only on a Saturday and Sunday. And therefore, because he was such a compulsive addict to social media, he worked through his secretary. So if you have a good relationship with your elder brother, sister, or parent, tell your parent, okay, my Insta password, please change it every week. I can't access it. That's one way of doing it if it's really an extreme case. But the other thing you need to do is talk to a few friends, if you're close friends, and say, look, we can't change the world. I am facing a problem. Talk to like-minded people who are facing the same problem. Talk to them and say, let us try that we will not post on social media during the week. Or we will, in the week, if you really want to see it, you restrict yourself to before dinner, 1 hour before dinner, or 1 hour after dinner. So pick up a period of time that you will open it only in that point in time. And if you're not able to do it yourself, take the help of your brother or a sister or a parent. Tell your parent, Mom, I really want your help. But for that, you build that what we discussed earlier, build that relationship that you can talk to your parents. And then you say, I need your help, that at this time I want to study, just take my mobile away. Just take it away. I'm giving it to you. Just keep it away. Give it to me when I ask for it. So these are some of the methods that can help you. So for example, a friend of mine put me on Insta. And I've never opened Insta after that. This was 3 years ago. I never opened it. My wife opens it once in a while. My daughters keep posting photographs of food. I mean, imagine food you are having, go to a restaurant, they take a photograph of the food and post that photograph of the food. Okay, they enjoy it. But then they have so many other things. The other thing they need to do is make sure you meet people physically. Of course, these are COVID times, so these are little strange times. But otherwise, spend time in physically meeting people. Then you won't have the time to look at social media. Play games. It's very important to exercise and play a game. Be fit. If you are spending time on that, you will not. I mean, I open my Facebook once in 2 weeks or 3 weeks. Insta, I said, never opened in 3 years. So, yeah, WhatsApp, we do messages, and there's work also happening on WhatsApp, and I'm connected with my friends where we're discussing serious issues. Does that answer the question?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's really, your answers are students friendly, and children must have been enjoying them, because you are always going pro student side. Mostly it does not happen. The people of this age group, they are pro parents rather than pro students. So your answers must have been appealing to the children, and in their hearts of heart, they must have been feeling happy about their own self.
No,
so
Madhuji,
here we have one student.
No.
Yeah,
Madhuji,
yes.
I'm totally pro-parent. I'm totally pro-parent. Please understand. if I behave like this, my children will come out to be intelligent, confident people who will have an open relationship with me, who are my friends. So I'm lucky at this stage in my life. Both my daughters are very good friends with me. They can share anything about anything they want to do. They can share with me, and something they can't share with me, they share with their mother. And now I have a son-in-law who's the delight. So it is absolutely pro-parent. I'm a very selfish person. I have done this for my good, that my kids are my friends. As my parents consider me their friend, and I consider my parents my friend. So totally pro-parent.
Yeah, yeah, sir. That's true. But somewhere children must have been feeling good about that. They are somewhere means good at their own points. Usually, parents, in most of the cases, they are not able to understand the children this way, the way you are suggesting. So that was the idea. Now here we have one student, Parthi, raising her hand. Parthi, if you are there, please unmute yourself and ask your question. Yeah, Parthi. So Gagandeep Singh, he's also raising his hand.
I think Shivani also has a point to make.
I was
Shivani?
looking for a question in the end.
Okay.
I think Tamanna also has a question. I believe the Tamanna.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, sir. I do have a
Am I
question.
audible?
It is
Yeah.
like
Yes.
how to build a successful career in management. Like, what are the inputs required? What are the characteristics which a person must have for building?
Okay. Tamanna, the characteristics and the quality aspects are what I shared earlier. One, your communication skills have to be very important, both oral as well as written. Two, you have to be confident in yourself. You have to be at ease with yourself. You know, no one is perfect. But our problem is we see our flaws and we beat ourselves up all the time. And you have to just focus on being confident. And so that's the third part. So communication, second part is being confident and be okay with yourself. Third part is build relationships with people, because ultimately it is all about teams. Fourth, it is about how do you treat people who are below you in your status. As a student, there are not many people who are below you in status. But there are servants at home, there's a maid at home, there's a driver. How do you treat the driver? How do you treat the maid? You know, those are the kind of issues. And most people that I see, it is disgusting to see how young people speak to their maids or drivers or servants. It is disgusting. And that habit, when picked up when you were young, goes up to being an elder when you become an adult also. And so in businesses in Ludhiana, most owners speak to their workers in a, let's say, not in a very good manner. So you have to learn to respect people below you. And you have to respect people above you. So it is these days, it is very fashionable not to respect teachers. It's very fashionable. Not a good idea. And in organizations also, people criticize their bosses behind their back. So the idea is that if you want to be successful in management, you have to become a good person yourself. As you become a good person yourself, your ability will improve in those. Of course, you have to study MBA. Is MBA necessary? Is that the only way? Absolutely not. But MBA gives you everything in a concise manner. You hear enough examples of people who made a success without being an MBA. Bill Gates didn't even finish college, for God's sake. Steve Jobs didn't finish college. And but you take those 3, 4 names and 5 names who didn't finish college, but there are thousands and hundreds of thousands of people who didn't finish college and failed. So you have to see a probability of finishing college and doing an MBA and those other characteristics. Courage is a very important part. The ability to lift yourself up when you're down, resilience. And these all happen when you can deal with your problems in your life. Don't hide away from problems. You have a problem, face it square on. So when I was in IIT, I had to face several problems in one time. At one time, many problems came to me. I was alone in hostel. I had a younger brother in class 12. They marked him absent in the board exam in one of the papers. Can you believe it? I had to struggle to, and he had attended it. Then finally, I had to struggle with CBSE myself. As a student, I went through that. We had a property case going on in Supreme Court. I had to study that. I had to study the law to prepare the lawyer. And I fought that case and won that case. We had a flat my father had applied for, which came due. I had to go and get that flat released. I'm a third-year student in college. I had to do all these things. Happened. So resilience, that if your issues or your problems happen, you have to face those problems head on.
Thank you so much, sir.
You're welcome.
Sir,
I think finally we can have Shivani.
question from Ma'am Shivani. Yeah.
Very good afternoon, sir. First of all, thank you for saying that you love teaching. I mean, I feel obliged because before Teachers' Day, all the teachers here getting this answer is something like a gift for them. I have two questions which I've compiled into one. Since most of us actually struggle mightily and overcome great obstacles in our life. So I would ask you that what did you overcome? And do you trust yourself to safeguard your own well-being? You've talked about exercise, eating good. So do you trust yourself to safeguard your well-being, or is it other people?
So let me answer the second part first. And that will give you the answer of the first part also. So one, I have full confidence in myself. There is no doubt about that. Because I've worked on myself in terms of my education, in my reading. So I have that knowledge. So knowledge is a very big booster in giving you confidence to handle problems. One. Two, whenever I'm stuck somewhere, I can always talk to my parents. They are a very big support. As I said, this was a relationship nurtured over so many years. I'm lucky at 55, my parents are still alive and active. So that's the second part. Third is I built a very strong relationship with my wife. She is a very big support to me, as I hope I am to her. So we both share that thing. When I'm stuck somewhere, I mean, she's a very big support. And fourth, I have a set of wonderful friends who are each more knowledgeable and more capable than me. So when I'm stuck in somewhere or the other, I always have a friend. I can pick up the phone and call. I'm stuck. I'm feeling low. And I need your help to come and sort this out for me. So having friends. And lastly, as a company, I have a very strong board of directors. Most people don't like a strong board because strong board will question you. That's the problem. So most people don't like to have a strong board because strong board will question you and they will make life miserable for you. Most people like a board. I decide something, I say yes, 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 yes. Board meeting is always yes, 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 yes. No discussions, no difference of opinion. So I always encourage people to give me difference of opinion. And even in my organization, my subordinates can continuously disagree with me. And sometimes you are about to make a big mistake and your subordinates check you. Sir, please reconsider your decision. But then it is your responsibility as a boss to create an organization, to create an environment that your people can disagree with you. You need to say just once, I am the boss. तुम मालिक है कि मैं? बड़ा समझता है अपने आप को, बड़ा सोचने लग गया आजकल. Once. One person you do that, this will spread to everybody. The boss does not like to hear a different idea. You need to do it only once. Then, jitna marji keh lo, I believe in participative management, I believe in listening, etc., etc. It will never happen. So, you have to demonstrate with your own actions that you want. You understand you can make a mistake. Just because the boss doesn't mean you're perfect. It means you have made less mistakes than others. Or you were born in the right family, therefore you're the boss. Or in my case, I got married in the right family and therefore I'm the boss. The point is, just because you're a boss does not mean you know all the answers. So with that, what happens is the chances that you will make a mistake get reduced because somebody or the other will keep pointing it out. In terms of a big blunders that I've made, so I took a decision a few years back, which would have been my biggest blunder. It was to take over another 6 steel company. But I was stopped from doing it by my board. So I had talked to the people who were going to sell the company. They said, okay, we are ready to sell the company. I had decided to buy that company. My technical head and I had gone and visited the company. Normally, when an owner of the company says, I'm ready to buy, it's a done thing. It's only a negotiation of at what price you will buy the company. And my board stopped me from taking that decision. Finally, I told them, I don't agree with your logic, but I will go ahead with what you say. As it turned out, circumstances changed, and that would have been the biggest blunder I would have made in my professional life. One big problem of being a boss is a worker makes a mistake, it's a small mistake. The boss makes a mistake, it has huge ramifications. So that mistake would have destroyed our organization. One mistake. So, and you need to make one mistake only. So those are the kind of things. I've made several mistakes when I was young. So those are all there. But the point is, if you have good advisors with you and you have the ability to listen to, you create an environment of listening that people can share with you. You have the ability to listen to opinions which are different from yours. I mean, this whole idea of writing this book, Dr. Prem Kumar told me, write it as a novel. His idea. I implemented it. So the point is, if you have people around you, can give you ideas, but that will only happen if you make sure you create an environment you're listening. Does that answer your question, Shivpan?
Yeah, absolutely. Good years, that means.
Although we can close now, I think Mr. Sachit Jain has diary full.
Yeah, sir. Sir, you have given a wonderful, during 1 hour, we got many life lessons, and we would love to listen to you for many more hours, but the time is not permitting us. So we would like to wind up the session. So I would like to invite the Secretary of Students, among students, Sableen Kaur from BCM School, Basant Avenue, to propose vote of thanks.
ख्वाहिश है ये कि आप बोले और हम सुनते रहे, आपके लफ्जों के कायदे से अपनी सोच का लिबास बुनते रहे. I, Sableen Kaur, the Student Secretary from BCM School, Basant Avenue, extend my heartfelt gratitude to a great business leader, motivational speaker, and recipient of Prerna Stotra Award, Mr. Sachit Jain, for embellishing the webinar with his august visits. On behalf of the BCM Leadership Forum and the student body, I assure that your words would definitely encourage the present generation to dream big, fight challenges, and achieve even bigger. Sir, through your successful venture, you have instilled hope in innumerable beings. Your valuable tips would definitely act as an inspiration. We hope that treading on your footsteps, many dynamic entrepreneurs would walk out of these schools and colleges. Thank you so much, sir, for illuminating the young minds. I'd also like to thank Dr. Prem Kumar, Executive Director, BCA, and all the esteemed principals for organizing such an amazing and informative session for the benefit of students. I also thank the student body for their mass participation. Thank you all.
Thank you. Sajid, personally, thank you very much.
Thank you so much, and all the best to everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you so much.
And I'll be more than happy to interact with your Institute of Teachers because, as I said, teachers play a huge role. And if I can interact with teachers, the impact you have on the generation is fantastic.
So we look forward to this session with the teachers next. Thank you very much again.
Anyway, okay.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you, everybody. Bye-bye.
Thank you, sir.